Hi, and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. We have a special show for you this week. We're going to talk with our Athletic Director Dwight Winburn. We're also going to talk about the Ponca City Wildcat football team as they wrap up their 2011 high school football season this coming Friday, and we'll have Coach Fry on in just a couple of moments. But we start with our Athletic Director, Coach Winburn, who is doing the dual role of AD and girls basketball coach this year, and thought we might take a little time to kind of review what has happened. We're 3 months now into the school year. We've had the high school football season now complete. How'd things go? Everything go okay with our attendance, with our field, with our facilities? Are you pleased with the way football season went, Coach?
Well, you know, early on we had that vandalism, and that created a little bit of a problem for us, but we've got that repaired, and seems to be holding up good. We hope that continues, and kind of an unusual thing. I hope that never happens again. As far as football season and attendance and all that, Sarah and I talked, I guess it was Friday, and our overall attendance is down. It's not what it's been, but there again, I think that parallels itself with winning and losing, and people have a tendency to come out more when the team is doing a little bit better than what we have this season.
It's kind of sad because, as we've talked, the wins and losses don't necessarily reflect how fun that team is to watch or how much fun they are to watch. Even though they only won 2 games this year going into the last week, I don't think anybody would leave sullen saying they didn't get their money's worth, Coach.
There's never been a dull moment in any game that they've played this season. You know, Brent Wilson is such an attractive kid to watch play. He's so exciting, and he makes things happen, and his receivers do such a great job. And again, you know, just the whole team and the way they've played, I've been very pleased with that. We come up short, but again, look who they've played, and look at the schedule itself, and that has something to do with it. And I think Rob and his coaching staff have worked probably harder this season than they have other seasons to try to make sure that those kids are prepared. And I don't remember any game this season that those kids weren't prepared and ready to play.
I know you get questions about Sullins Stadium, and I'm gonna pose a general question about Sullins, and you may or may not be able to give me information right now. But as our facility gets a little older, I know we've put down the turf. It is getting to a situation where it's going to be replaced in the future. But our overall stadium facilities, as our athletic director, what do you see in the future of that facility, or are there things right now in progress that will be an upgrade to Sullins Stadium?
Well, again, like the turf, it's about at the end of its rope as far as the longevity of it. Probably within a year or two it's going to be replaced, and that's all been taken care of and set aside. They only last so long, and so it's probably at its peak right now. And so probably within a year or two we'll replace that. Probably the biggest issue I'd have to say about Sullins, and it's a great place to view a ball game. It's got that the north side, which I think is very pretty, I guess is the word I would say, because of the history behind it. And I presume that the WPA built that portion of it, and so it's very, very historic to me. I think probably the greatest issue that we got to deal with is press box and possibilities of maybe making some changes there in the future.
I think probably the press box, the locker room facilities probably
Yes.
is something you want to address. But the one thing you did say that I wanted to expand on is that, you know, you talk about historical monuments in our community, and it may not be the most historical, but it might be as far as our campus is concerned, our high school. But that stadium, the way that it was erected and the way that it continues to sit, especially that north side, has probably too much history for anybody in our lifetime to ever mess with.
Well, I agree, and I wouldn't want to see that done. I've been to several stadiums that are similar to that are built by the WPA, and they just have that value to them that you don't want to ever see diminished or changed. I like that effect that it gives, and it is a great place to watch a ball game. I've enjoyed my time here watching it.
On the same hand, let's kind of talk about our indoor facility, the newly refurbished Allen Robson Fieldhouse, which a year ago at this time was winding up construction, getting ready for the basketball and wrestling season. As people go to the Robson Fieldhouse this winter, first of all, we're going to have home athletic events in December, which is really nice. But are we done with that facility? Is it all complete as people get ready to go to it?
pretty much finished for the first part of the project. I think there's some talk of some other things possibly happening later on, clock change and things of that nature. If you haven't been out to see the facility, you need to do that. It's a beautiful place. Really, you walk in and you're immediately hit with such a large, expanded, open area, and it's beautiful. It's very well decorated, and I think it just sets the precedence for what you're going to see there, and it's a great place to watch a game.
Well, I know that for your standpoint, it's easier to greet people when they come in, for you and your staff, and when people enter the Robson Fieldhouse, sometimes they didn't know where they were going, and they'd have to go find a coach or the athletic director. But now you're right there. You greet them right when they come in, and you take care of their business right away.
And it's very, very good in that way, because we see who's coming in. We know who's there, and it's very easy for them to find us. In years past, a little bit difficult. Of course, you didn't know who was coming in until they came in. So I think there's a great advantage to the way it's built today.
The one thing that I like about Robson is that they refurbished it without compromising what you see in a basketball game or a wrestling match or any event that's in there. The seating is still pretty much the same, and you didn't have to compromise any seating to still get what you wanted.
That's true. Again, it's a great place to view. I don't think there's a bad seat in the house, and that's what you look for. This summer we did some renovation inside too in the color scheme, and so we've changed the color scheme within it, and it's really more adept to our present colors, navy blue and red and white, as versus the royal blue colors.
Okay. Fall sports are just about over with. Softball, very successful. We had cross country. We had the football program, the girls softball team. Now we get ready for winter. You got basketball, you got wrestling, you got swimming. So everything looking okay as far as those sports are concerned?
Everything looks good. Swimming gets started, I believe, next Tuesday at home. I'm going to have to miss that first event. Rob will have to cover that one, but I'll be on the road. I've got a scrimmage that night at Sand Springs, but it's getting started, and it's really very timely for me, because I was so busy in August and September and October, and now that those sports have ended, now I'm into my season, and so it gives me plenty of time to work with my group of kids.
What's really interesting is that when you consider that swim team, they haven't had a home pool, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and now they've got not only a home pool, they've got about the nicest facility in the state to watch an event from. So even if you don't have a young lady or young man that swims on the team, I think people will be really impressed. And I know those kids are really going to enjoy it. They probably will have better results too.
Well, I think it goes hand in hand. When you have a great facility like what they've got to swim in, it's going to make them be a little bit more prideful about how they conduct themselves and how well they perform. So I think they go hand in hand.
How do you construct your day, Coach? Because you got to coach girls basketball. We're right into the beginning of scrimmages. The season starts almost a month from right now, and when you get into the season, obviously there's so much time demands. How do you construct your day, going in, getting your work done, and then getting ready for practice?
Well, first of all, I get there early. It's an early day for me. I'm in the office usually a little bit before 7. Of course, during football and softball and all the other sports in the fall, it was sometimes 10, 11 o'clock when I got home. So they were long days. But that hasn't changed now. I get in a little bit before 7. I start preparation for the day. I have a tablet, just a regular old legal pad, and I just write down everything that I'm going to do that day. Then I leave space for those drop-ins and special things that happen during the day. But I start early and I finish late.
You and I must have gone to the same school of organization, because you know, with all the computers and the technology, I don't know any other way to do it than just to write it down on a, if it was a big chief, you pad of paper. That's the only way I know to do it, is to write it down, and when I get it done, I cross it off, Coach.
It's exactly the way I do it. And I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but it works for me.
How's the girls' basketball team looking?
Look good. We got to scrimmage last week over Blackwell, and I was pleased. I was excited about the performance. We're a different kind of team, but the way that we're going to operate will be very similar. I still believe in the basic things as being the essential part of any program, and so we're going to do the same stuff that we did 25, 30 years ago. I still believe those things work, and discipline and structure, and we're going to run the same offense and same defense. Just try to do it really good.
Yeah. You have always been a defensive coach. You like players that are fundamentally sound. You're not always going to have the greatest offensive skill players. You've had kind of a mixed bag. You've had good teams with good offensive players, and you've had teams that didn't have really a great offensive player, but they did everything else well, so they ended up being a good team. But we have some girls back from last year's team, some experience. You've got a mixture of youth in there, and that's the great thing about high school basketball is that you never know how you're going to recover without those players the previous year, but you always do.
We got three girls that are mainstays. Two of them are returning starters, and one of them got a tremendous amount of playing time last year because of various reasons, injuries and foul trouble. So basically, we're going to build around those three kids, and probably the best guard unit I've had since I've been here. Not very big, very small group of kids, but they're quick and they're athletic, and you know, sometimes it's very valuable to have a great guard core versus a post type game. Don't get me wrong, I like to have the big kids, but we don't have that this year, so we're going to depend on, again, just doing fundamentally things right.
And we look forward to Robson Fieldhouse, and again, bless those kids' hearts, they didn't get to play a game at home until middle of January last year. This year, I know we've got a good home schedule before Christmas. People can come out. In fact, we open up with a little round-robin festival that's going to be at the Robson Fieldhouse. Last year was in Stillwater, and that'll be a chance for our fans to watch our boys and girls play 4 games there in an opening weekend, too.
And we had to change the dates on that originally. It was set up for December 2nd and 3rd, Friday, Saturday, but because of Bedlam, we've had to move that. We have so many fans that attend those type of games, and so we moved it to Thursday, Friday. We've got Noah and Harding Prep coming in, plus Stillwater. So very similar to what we did last year, except it's at Ponca City.
And it'll be Thursday and Friday. That way everybody can watch the ball game on Saturday.
Yeah, they don't want to miss that Bedlam game, nor do I. I think that's going to be a great game.
He didn't want to miss it, I promise you. I didn't want to miss it. Coach, that might have been one of your few games you didn't have your radio guy there for, but that's great. That's terrific. It'll be a fun season, and we look forward to working with you again. Good luck on the athletic director's job, and people can contact Sarah or Coach Winburn or Coach Fry. You're going to put him to work after football season, aren't you?
We are. In fact, about Monday of next week, he's going to go to work. We're going to put his old nose to the grindstone and take him out of that football element for a while.
With you being at ball games, he's going to have to fill in for a lot of events as well. So great to see you again. Good to see you, and we'll talk to you soon on the radio and also on our Coach's Corner feature. We'll talk Ponca City football coming up next.